Hoppers is the latest Disney Pixar movie. It takes us into the world of nature, and here we have a spoiler-free review ahead of its release this coming week.
Yeah, so Hoppers follows a young girl named Mabel. So we get to learn early on as a little kid that she is a really big lover of nature, but she has a very big temper that if she doesn't get her way, she's still going to do whatever she can to get her way, which is a really kind of fun introduction to her that, you know, most schools can have pets and things around the classrooms, and you get a few Pixar jokes in here with this as well, but she decides to break the class turtle and all the other animals out as a little kid, but she gets busted. She's found out, and her mom drops her off to her grandma because she's got to work and she's not able to watch her because she got, you know, suspended from school for trying to break all the animals out. And this is kind of where the heart of the film begins, because her grandma kind of teaches her about nature, takes her to the glade, sitting on this rock and just telling her, be quiet, listen, and wait. And she finally gets to hear and see the nature and the animals show up, and it helps calm her. And she kind of learns these traits from her grandma. Whenever she gets angry or upset, that she just kind of needs to slow down and look. But she doesn't fully get over all the rage and everything that she needs, because as she comes into a young adult, there's things that start to threaten the glade that she had such a big connection with her grandma with.
Yeah, and that's kind of the jumping point for this entire movie. Like, you get the mix of nature and the way that they're able to go and interact with nature. If you've seen the trailers for this film, you kind of understand like what the name Hoppers actually means, and you know, transferring your consciousness into a robotic animal to go and try to get these animals to work together to help save the glades as well. And you get a really hearty, funny movie out of this. One thing Pixar has always done a good job of is telling stories with heart, charm, humor, and you get that on full display here. I'm not seeing a ton of early buzz online for this film.
There should be.
But there should be. This movie is awesome. I had a really good time watching this. There were so many funny moments. I have a feeling that there's going to be some characters that come out of this film that are going to really resonate with people and are just silly and over the top. Obviously, the lizard one's been kind of a little bit of a meme already, just a little bit from initial stuff. You're going to love the lizard. The lizard is absolutely hilarious in it, but you have a lot of really talented, as you do with many Pixar movies, you have a lot of talented voice actors in this, a lot of famous names attached to it, but you get a really solid, heartfelt story about this strong-willed girl who's willing to do whatever it takes to kind of save this area that has like a very sentimental value to her from this corporation, from, you know, the quote unquote evil mayor Jerry, who is voiced brilliantly by John Hamm in this. And he's such a fun character to kind of interact with, as kind of a bad guy, kind of not a bad guy. They do a fun job of kind of walking that fine line. Like, he's doing bad things for the environment, but he's like a beloved mayor. There's definitely some messaging in this film, but I just had an absolute blast watching this.
Oh yeah, it was a fantastic film. Like, Pixar has always been so good about balance between, all right, this is a movie for kids, but there are so many jokes for adults and stuff. Oh, yeah. And they've always balanced that so well. Like, flap around and find out, you might hear in there, which some people might kind of know what the true meaning of that is, but they walk the line of making things that could be slightly inappropriate but make it fit. Like, okay, we're close to the line, but we're not going over it. But I mean, yeah, they go in with could be a little heavy-handed message that you know exactly where they're standing on the side of nature versus politicians and development and everything else. But they still managed to have quite a lot of heart behind Mabel, but also looking into stuff with Jerry and the animals and everything else around it. I just think they handled basically everything just so incredibly well. Like, you have Piper Curda as Mabel, you've got Bobby Moynihan as King George, the beaver king of the mammals. You get Dave Franco as Titus, who's a little caterpillar, which you find out a little bit more as his characters go on, because the glade becomes a very big problem for all of nature, because it's showing that, you know, all these animals that were displaced from the glade have to find somewhere else to live, and it's causing issues for all sides of the animal kingdom. So they have to kind of come together and figure out exactly what they're going to do, but not everything goes, as planned with that. But I do feel like Mabel's a very strong character. She's a very strong-willed girl that does have, like, I'm doing whatever I want, how I want to do it, whenever I want. This is how things are going because I feel like I'm justified in everything way. And I'm glad that they did have an aspect in it that kind of looked at it like, well, maybe not all good intentions are actually good, because you have to worry about what you do has serious consequences, whether it's in nature or real life. And I think they handled that really well, because we're not trying to go into spoilers, but there's a good heart with that. But humor wise, I was laughing so much. I had my kids and one of their friends with us, and they were all laughing and dancing and having so much fun. Like, I really loved the art style of it. I mean, it's the Pixar style, but it was so colorful and beautiful and well animated, so many details. But I also love the detail that, when they're animals being animals, they have different eyes and a different look to them. And then when you're in robot mode with Mabel, you get to see that they have bigger cartoonish eyes and they're a little bit more over the top. And you see, I love that distinction to tell you kind of which way of the world you're looking at now. You're looking as a human looking at animals, or are you looking at animals looking out towards the world? And they did that so well.
Yeah, it's very, very smart writing in this movie. A lot of really good attention to detail. The humor is top notch in this one. You and I were cracking up at a lot of the things. Your kids were laughing at the things that were appropriate for them to laugh at, really. And definitely has some adult jokes in there mixed in that kind of fly over the kids' heads a little bit, but there's some really, really funny stuff mixed into this. Like, that's just one thing they've always had a really good job of. One thing they've done a really good job of doing is just having that smart writing, and this is another example of that. Like, it's such a fun movie, and I know you and I have been kind of joking because a little lights the spoiler, but there's a scene where they're trying to get through to Mayor Jerry, and they're trying to help Mayor Jerry out, and the animals can't communicate to the humans because the humans don't understand the animals, so they're trying to use his phone, and they're trying to communicate via text because obviously it's a human and a robot, and an animal robot, so they know how to text, but once the animals get a hold of the phone, they start trying to text and just giving like the beaver, lizard, like just typing the different emojis. So funny.
Such a simple joke, but it just worked because of how they delivered it.
Yeah.
Like, so well.
The timing of it was just done incredibly well. Visually, it's a stunning movie, as most Pixar movies are. They do a good job of of making sure the visuals are always on point, and this is just another really good example of that. But yeah, the word I keep using to describe the movie is fun. It's a fun movie. Like, we had a lot of fun, a lot of enjoyment in watching this. I want to go see it again. Like, I want to watch. It'll definitely be one I watch more than once, for sure. It has very high repeatability for me.
Yeah, and I left smiling, and I know that my kids are going to watch it again. But even without my kids, I would watch this again because I had so much fun with it. Like, the jokes are smart. As I said, like, Pixar is one of those studios that does it so well, of being able to have any of their films enjoyable by kids and adults alike. Because there's many animated films that be like, well, parents have to endure because their kids want to watch it, or you may watch it as an adult. Like, yeah, this doesn't really offer much to me. It's meant for kids. It's going to be for kids. They just do such an amazing job of balancing that act for kids of any age to adults of any age can really enjoy this film. There's so many Pixar in-jokes that are hidden throughout here, which I want to go back through and see how many that we may have missed as well, because some of them are very obvious, while others are a little bit more subtle, and you kind of have to look for it. But yeah, I mean, just every aspect of it. The story was done well. It didn't waste a whole lot of time. Like, it set up the story a little slowly, but then it went right into it. Like, there was kind of nonstop once it got in to it, because, one aspect we didn't really touch about is how the hopper technology came about, is that Mabel is in college when we get to the main part of the story, and one of her teachers is developing it kind of in secret, and they do, and you've seen it in the trailer, they make a joke, oh, it's like Avatar. It's nothing like Avatar. Of course it is. Yeah. It's Pixar's version of Avatar, basically. It has a lot of similarities to Avatar. Like, it's quite different, but they know, and they knew people are going to compare it to Avatar, so they got ahead of it by making the Avatar joke themselves.
Very funny.
There's even some Back to the Future jokes in there as well. So like there's just so much for all ages to enjoy and the adults to enjoy. Like I may have had more fun than my kids did with it, and they had a blast with it.
Yeah, and I think that's the sign of a very successful movie. We'll see how it does financially, because this isn't like the prime time for a Pixar movie to get released. Obviously, you have the juggernaut that is Toy Story 5 coming up later this year, so I get why they try to put it in earlier to get ahead of it. But this is definitely one that I think if you're looking for like a good family movie to go see right now, definitely one you need to take the kids. The kids will have an absolute blast. Like, our whole theater had a bunch of kids up and dancing, moving around, laughing. Like, it was a really fun family time. Like, we had an absolute blast watching this, and this is one that feels like it's resonating with everyone in our audience. Like, we had just a really good, fun theater experience watching this, and definitely one that we recommend for the whole family for sure.
Yeah, there was even like some grandparents that were in there a couple rows behind us, and I heard them talking because at one point, being an early screening, they just had a graphic up and nothing was going on, so people were talking at that point. And they were like, well, we're told it's kind of like Avatar, and I love Avatar, so hopefully we enjoy it. And I even kind of looked back afterwards, and they had a blast with it too. So it was just good to see that, again, Pixar is just, they haven't always had huge hits with stuff. Box office wise, I don't think they've really put out a terrible movie. They've had some that people may not fully get. And there was, of course, the COVID times with how some of those performed. And we thought they were kind of shaky. And then they came back out with Inside Out 2. And that was a smash hit. As you said, you have Toy Story 5 coming out. And you had Hoppers here, which they did a decent job with advertising. But I don't think they really gave the advertising for this enough just to show just how good of a movie this is, because it's just, this to me is well on its way to becoming another Pixar classic.
Yeah, it's a sleeper hit for sure, because I agree. I don't think this is getting the buzz that other Pixar movies are getting, so we don't know how financially it's going to do. Like you said, you're unfortunately in the same release year as a Toy Story 5, which is going to make a ton of money. We know it's going to. Obviously, we're looking forward to seeing it too, but this is an original story. Like, this is one that I don't even know if necessarily it needs to go back to it and come back and turn it into a franchise, but if it winds up being just a standalone Disney Pixar film, it's a really solid entry in a catalog that's got so many hits in it. Like, this is another one that I feel is in that upper echelon of really high quality Disney Pixar movies. I like this one a lot. I really came out of it with a ton of enjoyment, really a lot of praise for it. I hope it does well commercially, but I mean, obviously that's TBD, but I would encourage everybody to take their kids to see this one. This is a good time at the theater. Like, this is one that just going off, like you said, off the reaction that we had in our own theater, like, everybody that would enjoy it. I don't recall seeing anybody not leaving with a smile on their face, which is obviously the sign of a good film. So I think they have a sleeper hit on their hands. We'll see how well it does.
Yeah, so Pixar's Hoppers is a fantastic Pixar movie. They know how to balance the heart, the humor, to have kids to adults enjoy every aspect of it. It has a solid story. It's beautiful animation, the colors, the lighting, everything is fantastic with it. It has incredibly good humor in it that adults and kids both can enjoy. This is going to be a new Pixar classic to me that people are really going to find how much that they enjoy this, and it's going to be played with all the other big Pixar classics to me. I'm giving it a 9. I loved it that much. I was close to 9.5 and 10 with it. There are a few things that they could have done a little bit better with handling the almost a little heavy-handedness with kind of the story and the stuff between Mabel and Jerry. But overall, I had such a blast. It is so much fun for any age that this really deserves to be seen by everybody, that Pixar has really nailed it and knocked it out of the park again.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 9 as well. That's exactly where I landed too. It's got heart, it's got humor, it's got everything you want from a really good Disney Pixar movie. I hope that it does commercially well. I have a feeling if it doesn't, this is going to be one of the ones that when it gets on streaming, it's going to pick up a ton of popularity when people actually go and watch it. I implore you to go see this film in theaters. It's
Well worth
definitely a fun theater time. The sound in it's great, and we didn't even touch on how good like the music in the movie is. Like it's got some good musical moments in it. It's not a heavy musical Disney film, but the music that it does have is really solid in it as well.
The songs fit really
The
well.
songs fit, and that's the sign of a good movie is when the music connects with the story that they do, and they do a good job of that as well. Like it's everything you want from a really solid, family-friendly animated movie that, in my opinion, is up there with some of the best that they've done. I agree. Like it's a lot of fun. Your kids will love it. You'll love it. It's got some very, very funny stuff, and it's got a lot of quotable stuff that's coming out of it, which is also another sign of a good movie. So, 9 out of 10 is a solid score for me as well. I'm loving this movie that we've seen.
Yeah, so me and my kids and even Josh with us were going through the credits, and they were putting the emojis and other stuff to the credits, and we sat through the whole credits just reading out the emojis in the like voice of the emojis. That's how you know that you had a hit and a good movie on your hand when you're wanting, not even caring if there are scenes. There are 2 scenes. There's a mid-credit and an end credit, so make sure you stick around for both because they're both really cute and fun and stuff with it. But if you're taking your kids, they're going to have probably as much fun as me and my kids had of just sitting there and naming out all the emojis and the computer Siri voice that they use for it. But yeah, Hoppers hits theaters on March 6th. We highly recommend you take yourself, your family, whoever you want to take with your friends. It has something for everyone, for family, for adults. It is a fantastic film that deserves to be seen on the big screen. Go check it out. You won't be disappointed by it.
Yeah, thank you so much for tuning into this review. If you feel so inclined, do all the things that help us out. Give us a like on all of our social media platforms. Go to willbringthepopcorn.com for all of our social media information. Liking, subscribing on YouTube, all the things that help us out. We cannot thank you enough for your continued support.
You can also become a subscriber over on Patreon to get each episode delivered to you early, exclusive merch items, and your name read out at the end of every episode. So check it out at patreon.com/willbringthepopcorn.
And that's going to do it for this week. Thank you again, and we'll see you on the next episode.